Hello guys, welcome to another amazing Halloween action figure review. This time I'm doing the Marvel Legends Frankenstein figure. This came in a 4-pack of figures that came out a long time ago, in fact. Now I'm gonna review it special because it's Halloween. Let me turn this off and turn on another light, get it nice and bright, and let's see what I think of this figure here. Wow. Let's get a look at his sculpt first, and then we'll talk about paint, and then articulation. First off, we get a nice head sculpt here. Very rotted looking. Now, this isn't your classic Frankenstein look. This is definitely something new, but I like the differences. Because the original Frankenstein definitely looks too slow and stiff. This guy looks a lot more dynamic. His head is a little loose, though. There's probably going to be a problem on many other figures, but nice sculpt on his hair. It's a separate piece here, it's rubber, so if you wanted to, you could probably rip it off too. But I wouldn't suggest that. It's got a nice windblown sort of look to it. Then he's got this fur vest that has nice paint and detail on it. Every little hair seems to be sculpted on there. And I suppose this is inspired by the Son of Frankenstein action figure. Or character, because in the movie Son of Frankenstein he wore this furry vest for some reason, and now he's wearing a furry vest here. Although it does seem like you could take that off, so if you don't want to display him with this, you could display him without it. And I think he would look cooler without the vest on, yeah. So when I display his figure, I'm probably going to take the vest off, just so you guys know. Anyway, feet, nice shoes, very pointy looking, but notice they're not 10 feet long. Yep, he can be tall without having to do that. Nice little laces put in there. Nice shading over there. Very dirty looking, which works. And you also may notice that there is no real stitching type stuff going on here. He looks like he's just a dead corpse that was reanimated and not so much pieced together. Which is probably just because he's based off of the comic from Marvel and not the original book that he's from, or the movies. Yeah, he's definitely just the Marvel version. But for that, he is still awesome. Got nice muscularity. Look at that. This guy is ripped. I can imagine him making a custom 6-inch Arnold Schwarzenegger figure out of this body. Because he has the proportions of Schwarzenegger. Anyway, as for the paint, it's really nice. Goes into a lot of detail, lots of dry brushing, lots of wash, which is something you wouldn't suspect or expect anymore, because they mainly just toss a bunch of paint on the figures now and don't even bother shading of any sort. But as for his head, it does seem like it's a little tiny for his neck. Definitely has a huge neck here, and his head is tiny in comparison. And that joint is huge. Yeah. Now let's go over articulation, because I mean, there's not much in paint other than the shading. He's not like Spider-Man, so he doesn't have different lines and blue colors and pink colors, and yeah, not all the colors of the rainbow on this guy. Maybe the colors of the sewer. Definitely the colors of the sewer. But yeah, this guy's got so much articulation that you could pretty much put him in any pose you want to do, any pose you desire. Which mainly consists of him standing there in punching-looking poses. So, yeah. Also, I would like to add that his head is kind of flat-looking, so that's kind of taken from the original look. Yeah. I don't know why they did that. Let's go over articulation. Head spins 360, can look up a fair amount, down quite a bit. Look at that. Amazing. He can look at his toes, be amazed. Oh yeah. And now we've got his arms. His arms cannot move up too far. This arm can get to a right angle, whereas this one, not so much. It doesn't feel like it's being restricted yet by the vest, but it does get that way at some point. Like, pulling it inward, it can't get as far as if he didn't have the jacket on. It can move up and down here. It's got a shoulder swivel part here, as well as the 360 there. Then the double jointed elbow, which is amazing. He can get definitely past 90 degrees with that. So he can really get in some sort of boxing type position. Yeah. The main problem for his articulation is the looseness of that head. Probably need to fix that with some sort of nail polish or something, I don't know. Thicken it up. He has a spin at the wrist here, right there. Then he has an up and down movement, which works pretty well. Yeah, ridiculous. And then his fingers are articulated, but for this hand it kind of seems unneeded because he's in a fist pose, where his fingers are clenched like this, so that he looks like he's doing some sort of, I don't know, kata move when he's doing that, which doesn't really fit in with him being Frankenstein. But for a fist, it works great. It's really just, I would only imagine using it as a fist because that looks wrong. I suppose he could be like leaning on the floor. Yeah, trying to get up. And then the other arm does pretty much the same there. Does a spin, that, and then 360 here. Goes down. Whoa, that looks like he really messed up his hand. Like, doesn't matter, I'm Frankenstein. No, wait, he's not Frankenstein. He's the Frankenstein's monster. Oh my goodness, if I didn't say that in the beginning of this, I might get a crap load of comments making fun of me. Whew. Glad I figured it out now. Anyway. Pretty much the same here, but then his hand here is not made for just a fist. It's opened so that he can grasp stuff. If you can grasp that concept. Anyway. Now let's move on to the legs. He can do the splits. Anyway. Can kick up quite a bit, but it's one of those weird Y joints where you kind of have to twist the leg while kicking, so his foot doesn't end up in a regular sort of kicking position, which is odd. But he can kick outward, normally looking. Yeah. And then double jointed knee. Ankle can move up and down, and there's a spin at the I guess that's under the calf. Yeah. And then there's toe articulation, which works kind of well. And no ankle pivot. Pretty much the same on both feet. Yep, nothing different there. And at the waist, he has an ab crunch that can move quite a bit forward and quite a bit back. It seems like it could move more back if he didn't have the vest on. But yeah, this is definitely an amazing figure. If you're a fan of Frankenstein or you just want a monster to go along with your, I don't know, Blade action figure, then definitely pick this guy up because that would be an awesome matchup. Blade versus Frankenstein, or Son of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster, whatever. Maybe, how do you know? Maybe he named himself Frankenstein after his father. You know what? That's it. So from now on, when I review a figure of him, or any Frankenstein figure, I'm going to call him Frankenstein. Yeah. But most of all, what's important is Deadpoo here. He really likes this figure. And you know what? If Deadpoo recommends, then you definitely know it's the right thing to do. Yeah. Make sure to check out my other reviews, and that's pretty much all I have to say. See you in the next episode. Peace.